This is Angel Joseph, and you're listening to Caribbean Power Lunch.
Podcast world. This is Caribbean Power Lunch, where we feature Black-owned businesses. I am your host, Kevin Valley, and today we talk to a makeup artist, motivational speaker, product developer, marketing connoisseur, who helps people develop their beauty inside and outside. It's Angel Joseph of Imagine Makeup.
Hi, hey everybody.
Angel, how you doing?
I'm good, I'm blessed. And you?
I'm great. All right, so we want to talk about, your journey to self. I know that's a big overarching theme. I mean, looking at your social media, looking at what you've been putting out into the world, into the universe as of recent. But, every journey has a beginning, of course, right?
Of course.
And sometimes the beginning is good. Sometimes the beginning is a source of pain. The value in it is that we always learn from it.
There's beauty in pain.
Yes, that's right. There's beauty in the valley, right?
Correct.
From our first conversation, you told me that your mother's best friend is actually your sister.
Yes, that's correct.
And that, I've been trying to do that math in my head for a while. So, just kind of break that down for me and just kind of walk me through that.
Well, okay, let's say I am 16 and I go to school and I have a friend. And of course, when we have friends, we have sleepovers. So I'm sleeping over by my friend, and my friend's dad, I should say, takes a liking to me. So that's basically what my background was like when it comes to my mommy. She was like that 16-year-old who had a friend who just went by her friend's dad, and her friend's dad took a liking to her. And she was even way younger than 16, as a matter of fact. My mom gave birth to me when she was 16 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. So, she was pregnant when she was like 15.
All right. Yeah. Okay. And then what happened? So your mom and her friend's dad hooked up.
I feel like hooked up is like such a mutually benefiting term. And I don't think that relationship wasn't mutually beneficial to the both parties, I should say, where love is concerned. My mom seeks security by having a place to live. She was put out at a very young age. Well, actually, she wasn't put out. She ran away. And that was because she was being raped consecutively by her stepdad at the time. And, she was seeking refuge, and a woman and her daughter took her in. But then she went to her friends, where my dad, well, he's my dad now, but at that time, he wasn't, of course. He was her dad. And he basically took her away from living in that place of security with that woman and her child for 3 days. So when she returned by that woman, the woman didn't want her back into their lives because she believed in being pure and not being touched.
So she didn't understand that your mom didn't really want to end up in that situation.
My mom didn't do anything, but she didn't care. She was just really pristine and clean about how her thoughts navigated where sex is concerned. And as I said, remember how back in the day parents were. They were very cautious about that. Sex was taboo. It's not like now where, people talk about happy come back and, ting, and gunman in the hole.
That's not one of your brands, Happy Come Back?
Happy Come Back is actually, yes, we have a lash name after the Jamaican Tim Happy Come Back.
All right, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. But yeah, so they didn't want her back into their space. So she had no other choice but to go back to my dad. And, she's like, well, basically they kicked me out. And my dad was like, well, okay, I'll take care of you.
Okay.
And that's what I mean by it not being mutually beneficial where love is concerned. It wasn't like, my mom found my dad and they felt magically in love and they had this beautiful baby girl called Angel. I wish, but that was not my background.
But they did name you Angel.
Yeah, he named me Angel. He named me Angel because, well, my dad, he's always been involved in, illegal activities ever since, I could remember.
Oh.
And when I was born, he started doing really well in this industry. And he was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, he was cash rich.
He was cash rich.
Okay.
Yeah. And he thought to himself that this baby girl was a blessing, and she is the eyeball of my heart. And he was like, hey, I'll name her Angel because she saved me. And she was a messenger from God. Well, according to him. My dad, he has his different ways of life.
What was Angel like growing up?
Yeah. Okay, so Angel, for the most part, was always happy. But, Angel definitely went through a couple challenges in her life. I would say unnecessary, but I mean, sometimes we have to go through the unnecessary things to find out the necessary lessons.
Right.
And I would definitely say that Angel wasn't protected. There were a lot of things that parents were supposed to be around for that they were not able to capture. And I felt really alone, unprotected. Like people who were supposed to look after me was abusing me.
You were abused?
Yeah, I was abused. Yeah.
Okay.
By my own family, like my brothers or my cousins. I remember being, molested as a kid. More than once, actually, by different brothers and cousins.
Your brother?
Yeah. Well, the thing with my dad, he had like 11 kids, but I was the only child for my mom. As you would imagine, as I said, it was not a love affair between them.
Okay.
So yeah, and those experiences, it made me question life a lot. Like there's this thing called existentialism. And when I was in Form 3, I knew about it. It was a literary term. I could almost eat out that word there. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Existentially.
And it was just about, asking why? Like, why are we here? And it all brings back to journey to self since then. And I didn't even know it, and I used to often ask, like, why are we here? Why would God put children in these type of situations, where they feel unprotected or they're sexually molested? And I used to ask that all the time. And yeah, but I do think that these are just things that I had to go through. And as I said, I found different escapes for my happiness. And school was one of them.
Oh, school was one of your
School
escapes.
was one of them. And winning, I should say, was one of them.
Okay.
And I used to always find security in coming out first in tests or being, really great at a sport or something like that. I felt like winning used to fill that empty desire of whatever it was at the time. And like when I was a teenager, my dad was both physically and verbally abusive to me. Especially, he used to always draw references to my mom and like, you're such a bad thing, or you're such a hoe like your mother, and this and that. And, he would curse, my mom's, supposed actions, because even that, I had to take with a pinch of salt. Because my dad, like after it all, I would say he's delusional. He has his own truths. And he would be like, you never amount to nothing, and you're going to school and this and that. And I would just take that and be like, you know what, I'll prove it wrong. You understand?
Right.
And I would never forget, like when I got that, 7 ones and a 2.
You got 7 ones and a 2?
I got 7 ones and a 2, hey, and he couldn't say anything, he definitely had to shut up, and I was like, I got a sense of happiness in seeing that, hey, like I am greater than what you think I am.
Okay. And then you end up studying Spanish and IR.
Yeah, I did Spanish.
And psychology. Like
international relations.
So you just went hard into school?
Yeah, I did up to my master's in international relations. And I so wanted to become a diplomat. That didn't happen because I used to be married.
You used to be married? That's something you used to do?
That's something yeah. That's a pastime I had. But yeah.
How long you did that for?
I did it for about approximately 3 years, but I was with the person for about 8.
Okay.
And long story short, I chose to please him instead of being myself. And I ended up not doing what I wanted to do
Right.
in, the IR world.
Right. But from that experience, you're able to become a marketing connoisseur, not so?
Correct. And for the last 8 years, when we was together, I gained experience working with this company called Trinbagonian Limited.
Oh, so we're plugging him now?
We plugging him in. Yeah. We still, because at the end of the day, he's the father of my child. So I wish nothing but the best for him.
Okay.
And yeah, like that's how you find your peace as well. You have to forgive. You have to always have good intentions. Like your intentions is what you always have to remember in anything you're doing in your life.
So I want to hear more about Twisted Imaginations and your role in that company.
Well, I went all the way up from being a promotional ambassador to being the CEO of the company. Mm-hmm. I literally ran the company. I definitely...
What does the company do?
Install the building blocks of that company. The company focuses on below the line marketing. That's basically when you go into the grocery, you see those, promotional girls. Hi, good day, Sir Kevin.
Yes.
Would you like to have a sample? And then they tell you about what their products are, whatever. I was heavily involved in, from start to finish of that type of execution. I would train the girls how to psychoanalyze each customer, profile them, let's say we're doing Pringles, game Pringles, a little plug here. And somebody comes in and they are in gym wear. Of course, you want to highlight the calorie content of that product. At that time, they were doing a little speaker boombox. And you're like, when you're in the gym, you have this portable speaker you can carry, and you basically have to tell each customer how your product is of service to them.
Okay, so let's say that the person comes in with, regular T-shirts and shorts or whatever. They just want to get some quick.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you analyze that person?
The first thing you go, hi, good day, how are you? And just from their response alone, you can know where their head is at. Yeah, I'm good, just running off to the beach. Oh, okay, well, here what? I have this great offer for you. The speaker could be, used on the beach with your friends and all. They could just have your little jam party or whatever it is, So yeah, you just have to bring it back to them. Bring everything back to them. Even when I motivationally speak, I bring it back to you. Even when I used to do for HR and I have to get my employees to do what I want them to do, I bring it back to them. Is either they care about their child, they care about their appreciation of self, they care about the money, whatever it is. I have to psychoanalyze each person and be like, okay, how do I bring it so that they understand that this role that they play in the company affects not only them, but the whole pie, and then, of course, them.
Okay, so how long were you at this company for?
8 years.
You were in the company for 8 years?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you're deep into marketing, deep into promotions for 8 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we still do work, like Imagine Makeup still does work for Twisted in terms of the Carib girls or the Guinness girls. We do the makeup for these lovely brand ambassadors.
Okay, so I understand 2 years before the end of this marriage, you started to get that little itch.
Little inkling, yeah.
That inkling, right?
Inkling.
Maybe not an itch. Yeah, you got an inkling and you wanted to start.
All the ink.
So tell me about this inkling.
Yeah. I mean, oh gosh, this might kind of hurt Leon or whatever. This is my ex-husband. But, I woke up one morning and I was like, hey, what the hell are you doing, girl? Like, yeah, you're really not feeling, like, you're not part of this world. You're feeling depressed. You're out of it. Your purpose, like, what you doing, And then when I looked at, my love life and everything, it just didn't add up. It didn't make sense. And, I got up one morning and I told my significant other, hey, like, I just not in love. Like,
ouch.
And it was really tough. And honestly, it wasn't like, I tell him that's time we just bust and we going, no, like we worked on it to make sure, it was real, what I was feeling at least. And then, of course, that would, organically show his colors, because when things ain't not going your way, you will lash out. So that's when I was like, oh, well, I have nothing because I only work in his company.
You didn't get any shares, anything?
I don't write any checks. I don't do anything. Like, in terms of financially, at least, there is no financial safety net here for me. So that's when Imagine Makeup was born.
Okay.
Right? And my purpose started to, I wouldn't even say make sense, but the roadmap to my purpose started putting itself in place.
Yes, okay. So tell me about this, this love for makeup, right? Is
Right.
is it this natural way, okay, well, I'm a girl, I'm a pretty girl, so I like makeup, or is it
Right.
something deeper than that?
I was always that friend in the circle that is like, hey, do my eyeliner now, or do my powder now, or do my brows, or do my, because they'd be like, oh gosh, but you used to do it so good. So that's when I realized, I have a little skill. All right. So I actually like this thing. So let me see how best I can make it into a business.
Okay, so you start doing people's makeup and stuff, okay.
So, I started doing my own makeup, but then I started getting into, at that moment, makeup was trending a lot. So the face of makeup was changing, how people do makeup and the contour and the highlights. And I was like, hey, I've always been interested in seeing the development stages of anything, and makeup, as I just said, always interested me. So that's how the love of it really started. And then the products. So I started selling products for people, but it was different brands I was really dabbling in, wasn't my own. And then 2 years into doing that, I was like, oh gosh, the unhappiness start coming back again, Every time I do something and it's not right, if I do it long enough, then, I'm like, what are you doing?
So you sold other brands for 2 years. What sort of brands you sell?
Shani Cosmetics, Morphe brushes. I was one of the first suppliers for Morphe brushes, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to pretend like I know what that is. Okay, so you sold other brands for 2 years and you said you get fed up. So what did you do next?
I didn't really get fed up. I was like, it just didn't feel right, And then I was like, hey, I know marketing, Tati. Why not do my own brand? Do my own brand, market the shit out of it, and let me see how, where this goes. At least I'll do something that I actually feel right about. And that's how the Really Magic Makeup was born.
Okay, so I understand that you started by being the first company to bring eyelashes. Was it five pair eyelashes?
Yes, because the industry was raping us here. Oh yes, all they know that, where they was charging $100 for one pair. And I was like, no, somebody had to post up to this.
Okay, and what's a fair price for one pair of lashes?
Well, okay, so it depends on what it's made out of. So it could go as low as $10 TT for one pair. Yeah.
It's like Charlotte Street kind of.
No. It just depends. So synthetic is a cheaper make. And then the more high end is like minks or silks. Ooh. Right? Or human hair, right? Yeah, there's human hair lashes.
Human eyelashes?
Human hair eyelashes.
Because I want to know how you're supposed to human lashes.
Yeah, I actually don't do those for obvious reasons, but I more focus on the mink and silk. But the mink and silk could sell for $20 to $25 a pair.
Okay. So you were the first person to bring in. All right. So how did you source this 5 pair eyelashes?
How I sourced it? Basically looking at other different suppliers who could probably give me a more competitive rate or cost, so I can now give that back to Trinidad.
Okay, so you're doing people's makeup for a few years. You're selling brands for a couple of years as well, right? And you start to bring in your own eyelashes. So what is your client base like? What's your clientele like? Is your business successful as yet, or is it still like you're struggling?
Nah. I don't have an 8 to 4. So, that should definitely speak numbers to that. Ooh. And I have a kid. He's 5, and he needs.
He seems fine.
So definitely, I would never say I'm struggling. I would say that there's a lot of room for improvement, which is coming. But I also think that with everything takes time in its own time. So exercise and patience have been a challenge for me. But again, it's all about the marketing, honestly speaking. Because when you look at Coke, right? Don't mean to digress, but when you look at Coke, what do you think Coke sells?
They sell... It's definitely a feeling. Is that addictive feeling, right? Because I was actually listening to a podcast about the origin story behind Coke the other day. That originally had cocaine in it. Yeah, it definitely did, yeah. Yeah, that originally had cocaine. So they're selling this addictive kind of feeling.
But when you look at a Coke ad, what do you see?
I don't know.
Okay, so Coca-Cola, I should say, they more focus on happiness. And you were kind of right with that feeling, sensation. And that's what they sell. I would never forget this ad they had where it was a set of immigrants they brought in they couldn't call home. It was very expensive. And in order to call home, all they had to do was buy a Coke. And the currency was the Coke to put into the Coke phone booth.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, is that whole emphasis of happiness and how Coke makes you feel. And that's what they sell. They don't sell that carbonated sugar drink. That's not what they sell. They sell a feeling. They transcend their own product.
Okay, so it's beyond the product itself. It's the marketing, it's the message, and the product is just a means to an end.
Correct. Marketing connoisseur.
All right, so let's get into you creating your own makeup brand.
Right,
now, right?
right,
So tell us
right.
about that process.
Right, yeah. Well, again, it was all about me doing something where I feel like I'm myself. And well, now I definitely think the face of my marketing has changed because now I have intertwined my journey to self and helping others find their own purpose in life with makeup, like if that makes sense. So it's like makeup and motivation. So now when I see my clients, when I act as an MUA, I motivate them. When I go as a representative of my brand and I'm selling my products, I motivate them.
So is it like when I go to my barber and I sit down and I'm in the barber chair and he talks to me and he tell me things, make me feel good. And we share jokes and all that. You're in their ears and motivating them.
Correct. And I change their lives.
You change their lives?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a lot of different clients that their lives has changed based on what I would say to them. And as I said, when you're on a journey to self, like I connect with people on a spiritual level. I connect with their souls. I speak to their souls. I don't look at your physical. I don't look at your personality. Like all of that is really all nice and stuff. But we really have to look at the metaphysical of you and who you are, who you really are behind closed doors. And you being able to be that person despite whoever's looking. And that's an empowering thing. That's not an easy thing to do because just by meeting you here today, Kevin, like I could have been like, you know what? I'm going to be this person because I feel like Kevin might like this type of woman or this type of personality. And I'm like, you know what? Forget that. Like, I'm just me. If Kevin don't like me, then that's Kevin business.
You all right?
So, yeah.
Okay. So how did you get to your first products and all of that?
So, right. The thing with my lashes is that I sat on it. And when I did my master's in IR, I learned a lot about competition. And that was a part of it for sure. Like I saw my whole thesis just played in front of me, but I slept. And I was going through a depressing stage at that point for sure. Because I'm like, what do I do now? Okay, I brought out the lashes, but I think it's because I was in a state of depression. That's why I couldn't see or have a vision as to what's next. But then I was like, you know what? Let me just go and do some research again. And my next product was Glow by Imagine Skin. And that was it's a body shimmer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see. You think that's glisten you and glitter you up.
Yeah.
I was doing some studying today, I was doing some,
nice.
I learned about that.
It's a highlighter.
Right. And I learned about this other thing. This, I think it's a setting powder.
A setting powder, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Which was my next product after the Glow. And I now started to infuse the product development and the marketing aspect of it and see the whole company as a whole develop.
Okay. All right. So I was going through your list of products and I was getting a little bit hungry.
Oh, right.
Because I understand you have this parlor cake and then you have some carrot cake.
Right.
And then you also have some brands that also use like colloquial dialect of different countries in the Caribbean. You got the Coffee Come Back.
Right.
You got the Best Thing at Darky.
Yes. And that's the next thing about me and purpose and being purposeful in Imagine Makeup. So I'm like, okay, so how can I make Imagine Makeup this big thing that is larger than life itself? And I'm like, you know what? Imagine Makeup is a representative of us, like what we stand for, our culture, our heritage. So yeah, I chose names like Mama Guy and Papa Yo and Darky and Best Thing and Happy Comeback. And I even extended it regionally as well because I no longer want us to be influenced by the West or the Americans and we saying things as dope and all of these different things, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
I want them to be like, hey, I want a little person in California saying, hey, do Mama Guy me, you understand? And they're like, where you learn that from? Oh, that's a little thing Trinidadians to say, And I want them to be influenced. I want us to be like this big Caribbean, rich, culture-rich powerhouse that transcending and making statements and doing things, not only through carnival, but through beauty.
So is it that you're trying to appeal heavily to the diaspora as well?
Heavily. And even the diaspora, they miss home a lot. They thrive to walk down the road and, eat a little doubles and feel like, oh gosh, I'm still home. So yeah, I definitely want that for them as well.
It's interesting, because a lot of companies are trying to target the diaspora and figure out how can we get those diaspora dollars, because the diasporas across there making this hard currency dollars, and it'd be great to get some of that money invested into our local economy. So, I don't know if you have any tips. I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but do you have any tips on targeting the diaspora as a marketing connoisseur?
It's not that hard because I currently do it now as I hit home for them. You have to know your target audience. You have to, know where their minds are, what they're definitely attracted to. A lot of people, we're talking diaspora. As long as you live in a way and you're from the Caribbean, you have that Caribbean pride or national pride or whatever it is. So as long as you see a red mango or a Benny board, you get so excited. You understand? Because you're just so fed up with the external forces that just making you feel like not you. Right. And this could help people always remember their history, where they're from, their purpose, all of these things, because that is very important to know where you're heading in life. And it might sound weird because it might be like a little lipstick that could help you find your purpose, but you just never know, or help you remember where you come from.
So it's about packaging the product with that national pride and give them that feeling of nostalgia. Okay, yes, I remember when I was growing up and I was in this part of Kingston or Bridgetown or wherever.
And they tell that story to their other friends internationally.
Yeah.
And say, hey, we used to say these terms, and they have a story to tell.
All right, let's get into that, right? Let's get into that. So let's talk product development, right? So I remember initially you said, your fascination with makeup is that the whole science of it, right? How it's done, the different layers, the foundation, the concealer, then the setting powder and all that. I got this in right order.
You did. Yes.
Right?
Except if you get the primer, but that's all right.
Yeah, okay. I forgot it. Okay.
Oh, you knew?
No. Well, I heard about it, but I didn't make a proper note of it. All right, so let's talk about the actual product development process. Because is it that you are in a lab, or do you have somebody white labeling some product for you?
So
how does it look? How does it work?
I hate chemistry.
Okay.
That definitely was not part of my plan or my purpose, but I do understand, how makeup works and what I want the makeup to do. So I definitely play a role with my cosmic chemist internationally. I tell either him or her, it depends on, who's making the product, what I want. So for example, I may want a foundation that as the climate gets hotter, the foundation cools. And they would be like, okay, well, this is what we have to do to get that done. And I'll be like, all right, well, yeah. And don't forget to, put the matte properties in it or, whatever else. So yeah, it's just a conversation between a person who actually knows what they're doing and a person who actually knows what they want.
Interesting. So you outsource most of your production.
Yes.
You just tell them, you give them the specifics and then you just bring it in.
Definitely, because it is more economical to do so.
So is this a lot of time spent looking for suppliers and everything?
It is. It takes me at least 3 months to really locate and create what I want, not only on the chemical side of things, but also on the concept side of things. So what do I want to name my next foundation brand? Or what do I want to name Glow? Or what do I want to name Parlor Cake? That is not something I have in the bank of, Angel, Joseph. No, that's things I have to dig deep within and be like, okay, this is it. This is what I want to do.
All right. Let's talk product distribution now, your distribution network. So I understand you're in a few stores across Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
Right. So we want to list them out just real quick.
The biggest retailers we have are Belarus in C3 and West Mall. We have Posh by Diana in Princestown. We have Glambox TT in St. Augustine, AMS Cosmetic Store in Tobago. And yeah, that's it for now. And we're currently expanding.
All right. So we spoke about targeting diasporas and everything and targeting regional, right? So I know there's got to be a website.
Of course, it's called www.imaginemakeup.shop. Y'all can check it out. It's amazing. We put the Caribbean in your beauty. You can check it out.
Okay. All right. And from there, you could get it shipped directly to people's houses,
Correct.
wherever they are.
Yeah.
Okay. And what shipping method do you use?
I mean, I love to personally deliver my own customers items because I just love to see their faces when they get it, especially with parlor cake. Like, parlor cake really created a buzz for us.
Okay. So I understand you say that when you figured yourself out, that's when your business blossomed. Just kind of connect that thought for me.
First of all, I had to start to focus on myself, independent from relationships or friends or my son, like, who is really Angel Joseph? And then while doing that, I'm like, okay, cool. So how can Angel Joseph be of service to the world to make it better? And then from that, I'm thinking, okay, so how can Angel Joseph use Imagine Makeup to make the world a better place? And yeah, again, it's through beauty, making people feel comfortable with makeup, but also without, because I really believe in this whole beauty within. I'm not a big makeup person, and everybody always tell me, but you're a makeup artist and you're, representative of Imagine Makeup. You're supposed to have a makeup all the time. And I'm like, no, like, I'm comfortable with me and you should be too. So I want to always instill that in people, first love yourself. Love yourself first. Then buy the little powder and slap it on. Be comfortable who you are without the powder first.
While I was setting the microphones and all of this stuff, you said, so Kevin, do you know your purpose? What is your purpose?
Kevin, you putting yourself on this spot here. And, it's really important to know that, Kevin, because even while doing Caribbean Power Launch or whatever you plan to do within the next 5 years.
Become investable.
It's going to make sense. It's going to open doors for you. It's going to develop you as a person. It's going to change you.
All right. So I know you tell me that when you listen to Shelly Ann's interview, it's just centered around finding your purpose.
Love Miss Gadgeta. She's such an amazing soul. I wish her the best.
Yeah, and I big her up all the time. So you said you actually came to tears while
I did. You want to know which part of the interview that was?
I want to know why.
Yeah. Okay. When I heard her speak about that part where she says that, facing yourself, for poor reason right now, Jesus, facing yourself and how everybody is so afraid of that.
Mm-hmm.
Being by yourself, speaking your truth. And she said when she did that, she was like, oh my God, baby girl, like, you're so broken. Yeah, you're broken. I'm like, that resonates with me because, in the beginning of this interview, that's a broken girl. And I remember listening to her before I went to church and telling myself before, oh gosh, should I put on makeup or no? And I didn't. And I was like, oh, thank God.
You're wearing makeup right now?
That was last week.
Oh, last week.
Last week, Sunday.
Right.
And I was like, thank God I didn't do that because I just needed to be me. Today I needed to be me. Today I needed not to put a speck of makeup on myself. And I was really emotional about, how broken I really was and how much healing I need to work on and how much I need to forgive to even reach the healing.
So would you say you're no longer broken, you're completely solid, you're rock solid right now?
Nah, I would say it's a process. It's a process to become healed, and I would know when I'm not broken, when I am totally, totally at peace.
Okay. So this whole business blossoming, as you figure out yourself and you figure out your purpose, which I assume is to make people feel good.
Yes.
Right? Inside and out. Is it that you're seeing, just kind of going back to the Coke example, is that people don't come to you just to look pretty.
Mm-hmm.
They come to feel beautiful.
Correct.
Ooh. I just got a little marketing.
I'm rubbing off on you. That's good. I'm already changing your life, Kevin. Can you feel it?
All right, Angel, what advice you would have for, because I'm sure there are many ladies listening to this episode. I hope the guys are still with me. They didn't.
Oh my God, like actually that sparked something because I wanted to talk to you about it. I feel like men take longer to find their purpose.
You think so?
I've seen a trend.
Really?
I've seen a trend.
How do you determine
I
this?
feel like we should have a segment on this.
Okay.
Just by the guys that I interact with. I mean, I'm not saying that I want to make a general bold statement, but I just think it's something you could look into because, you know, I'm like, men really, they take a while to be deep, you know?
Well, is it that men don't like to be vulnerable and that's why?
That is definitely a major reason. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. That's really interesting. So anyway, so let's
side note.
Yeah, side note. So you have any advice for the ladies listening out there on how to find their purpose and how to find their beauty both inside and outside?
Yes. First of all, you have to get to know who you are. That's the first things first. And know who you are independent from anybody else around you. And when you find who you are, love that person. Love that person so much that you attract the type of people that will love that person too. So you could always feel like you are yourself, you are organic, and you always have that real happiness in life. So definitely I'll do that. And always make sure that your purpose is of service to others in some way. You know, whether it's making them feel nice or making them be able to find their purpose or helping them to heal or helping them to grow their finances. Make sure your purpose is part and parcel of for the betterment of the world.
Okay, so let's say that you really want to do this for people, but you don't feel like you have the requisite skills to do that. So maybe not everybody could be an excellent makeup artist like yourself.
Right.
Not everybody is financially intelligent, financially literate to the point where they can advise others, right?
Right.
How do they get to make their purpose to be a service of others if they feel like they lack the competency to do so?
That is such an easy question.
Really? I thought I was asking a brilliant question.
It is a brilliant question, but it's an easy question for me to answer.
Let's hear it.
Okay. What you have to know, first of all, is that we have different passions. And the passions are just the tools to assist with the purpose. All right? So what you're really asking is how you figure out your passion. You understand? And that's simple. Do the activity that requires the least amount of effort. So like makeup for me, I love it so much that I don't feel like I'm working. You understand? This might be something that you love so much that you don't feel like it's work. Like you feel like you could podcast whole day. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
As I said, somebody who is a chef, they just enjoy what they do. You ever hear that saying? Do what you love and you never work a day in your life.
Yeah, I think that saying is BS.
No, but it's true. As cliche as it sounds.
You know? Work a day I mean, even doing what you love, there is a lot of work in it. There's still many nights I am up late, tired, like, oh gosh, I just want to sleep. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
But I'm working. I am fooling myself.
But it's balance. It's balance at the end of the day. You don't work every single day, all the hours of the day. Is balance, you know. Same way, I don't be looking for my purpose every single, you know. No, it's balance. I'm mother. I have my friends. I have my self time. That's a real important thing. You know, always have a self time. And this is another thing I want to tell the listeners. Remember revision?
Yeah.
Right. Same thing with self-development. You always want to revise. So you might watch a motivational speech or listen to Caribbean Power Lunch once. Nah, do it again.
Yeah, I agree
and
with
again.
That.
Of course you do. No, but you understand, you do it again and again and again. Because on the 10th or the 42nd time, it will stick. And then you know, all right, I can move on.
Angel, this has been great, man. This has really been good. I feel enlightened. I feel a little beautiful.
You're going to make me laugh. You're pretty funny yourself, so I feel, very entertained.
I try something. So is there anything that we didn't cover today that you might want to get out? Giving you open mic, open forum, open platform. Get it out.
I just want the listeners to understand, one, their purpose, and two, their role in the metaphysical world. Life is bigger than just our existence. And I tell that to people every day. And also, in terms of Imagine Makeup, I want them to be a part of my movement. A part of my movement where we as a Caribbean entity make a statement, an international statement. We're not out here to play. You understand? We done with following. We are leaders. And that's my whole beauty movement. And I just want people to be enlightened by that and be supportive of it. And always, as I always say, if you're not at peace, you'll never like to see others win. So trust me, find at peace, everybody, and everybody could win. Your neighbor could win, your sister could win, your mother could win, your son could win. Don't ever, ever not want to see people win.
Angel, where can we find you?
You can find me on my Instagram handle. It's angel.imaginemakeup. You can also find Imagine Makeup on Instagram as well, Imagine Makeup TT. Also on Instagram, Imagine Makeup, and my Facebook is Angel Joseph. Feel free to contact me. My number is 721-7345. Feel free to WhatsApp me. I love WhatsApp. Even for motivational stuff, like I don't limit anything to business only.
Podcast world, there you have it. Journey to Self with Angel Joseph. Subscribe to Caribbean Power Lunch at caribbeanpowerlunch.com/subscribe. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Castbox, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And with that, Podcast World, Cabin Studios, we are out.
Bye, guys.